lately I've been reading a lot of Richard Schwartz, Internal Family
Yeah.
Systems
Yeah.
books, which I think is the thing that's been most helpful, which for people who don't know it is the idea that you have all these voices and characters in your head, and they also have these protectors for all these exiled parts of your personality, and that you, instead of talking to just your inner child, you're basically saying your inner child is 20 people,
Hmm.
and they all are trying to help you in different ways that usually hold you back. So whenever I explain it to people, I say, let's say you're shy and you go into a party. There's a part of you that says, just go home.
Hmm.
And it thinks it's protecting you by having you leave the party, and you learn how to talk to it and try to understand why that's the philosophy, and to remind it that there's probably a better way. And you could look at all the ways that you use defense mechanisms in your life and try to unknot them so that you can be more authentic.
That Dick Schwartz IFS stuff has been huge for me too. Like just learning how to identify the characters who grab the steering wheel most frequently, and then have a relationship with them that is sane rather than reflexive, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. And the one that I noticed was my most prominent is a character or a voice or a protector, whatever term he uses, which is always saying, what are you supposed to be doing right now so
Yes.
everything doesn't fall apart?
Yes.
And I noticed that voice is on a 3 minimum 24 hours a day, even while I'm sleeping. And that is the voice that is most destructive to me, that keeps me out of the moment, because I really fear that if I'm not in the future, something really bad can happen. And it's been very helpful to understand that in a different way. I always knew it a little bit. I always knew, I'm hyper vigilant and I'm trying to, make sure that my life is solid. But I think I understand it in a deeper way. And just this idea that it's literally like a character that's going like, what now? What now? What should you be doing? What's going to make everything work? What's going to keep everything from falling apart? That is the voice of anxiety. And if I can calm that voice down, I feel way better.
What do you do to calm it down?
Well, just noticing it gets me to a much better place. Richard Schwartz calls it just the self, like the real you. In Buddhism, I guess it would be just awareness. And if you're in awareness, you're not doing that. And so just noticing it actually makes it shrink. If I remind myself, this is an inappropriate voice. I think for most of my life, I thought this is an appropriate voice.
Yeah.
I'm working, everything's going well. I can pay my rent. So it must be the voice that is required. It took me a long time to realize that it's basically a very destructive voice that keeps me from being happy and being present for everybody in my life, especially me.